Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 40. Aknyascha shraddadhanascha samsayatma vinasyati nayam lokosti naparo nasukam samsayatmanah. Aknya, a fool who has no knowledge in standard scriptures. Cha and ashraddadhana, without faith in revealed scriptures. Cha, also samsaya, of doubts. Atma, a person. Vinasyati, falls back. Na, never. Ayam, in this loka, world. Asti, there is. Na, no. Para, in the next life. Na, not. Sukham, happiness. Samsaya, doubtful. Atma, of the person. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shkatrupa Ki. For ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Please repeat. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. Purport. Out of many standard and authoritative revealed scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita is the best. Persons who are almost like animals have no faith in or knowledge of the standard revealed scriptures. And some, even though they have knowledge of or can recite passages from the revealed scriptures, have actually no faith in these words. And even though others may have faith in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, they do not believe in the worship of the personality of God, Sri Krishna. Such persons cannot have any standing in Krishna consciousness. They fall down. Out of all the above mentioned persons, those who have no faith are always doubtful, make no progress at all. Men without faith in God and His revealed word find no root in this world nor in the next. For them there is no happiness whatsoever. One should therefore follow the principles of revealed scriptures with faith and thereby be raised to the platform of knowledge. Only this knowledge will help one to become promoted to the transcendental platform of spiritual understanding. In other words, doubtful persons have no status whatsoever in spiritual emancipation. One should therefore follow in the footsteps of great acharyas who are in disciplic succession and thereby attain success. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitanmena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Shapitam Yera Bhutale Smayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swamalandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagaranatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Dadvetam Sarvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishanamitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoshri Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vanchakal Padrabhyasya Kripa Sindhumevacha Paditana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Namarom Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashtadya Desitarani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gauravakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. But ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. So in this sloka, we are going to discuss about the word called Shraddha, faith. So Krishna here says to Arjuna that if you have no faith in the revealed scriptures, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, then what is the consequence? Consequence is you will fall down, and there is na sukham, neither in this world or in the next. So everybody is, what's our aim in life? For all the things that we do, why we work so hard, right? The office, make the money, why we get married, why we have a family. And the end equation is not that I want to have $1,000,000, what I'll do with $1,000,000. But that $1,000,000 will be used to attain my version of happiness, right? So we think that, so everybody wants to be happy, naturally. Nobody comes to the temple to pray to Krishna, you please give me sadness, give me problems. Everybody comes here, please Krishna, I have this problem, you take away this problem from me, right? But we do not know where to find that happiness, how to find that happiness. We think that if I do this way, I'll be happy. You know, like if you go there, Lorong 25, there's a shop there, seafood. It's a Thai shop selling seafood, and they have a big Ganesha outside. So Ganesha usually people pray for clearing the obstacles. So he's putting Ganesha there, you please clear my obstacles that I can sell more meat. And these animals are being killed. So much of sinful activity is happening. So many fishes are being killed. And he's praying, please you help me clear this obstacle to eat meat nicely, sell this meat nicely. So what will happen? See? So Ganesha, we worship Ganesha to clear the obstacle in the path of bhakti to Krishna. Yat pada pallava plavam vinidhaya kumbha dhvande pranama same saganani raja Vignan vihanta malam asya jagatrayasya govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Lord Ganesh, devotees don't really worship directly, but if we do worship, we will pray to him to clear that obstacle to reach Krishna. That will give happiness. So firstly, we have to understand what is happiness, how to attain that happiness. So the happiness, it is revealed in the scriptures. You see, if, this verse also Krishna says, Ashradhana Purusha Dharmasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me or conquer of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So here Krishna also says that if you do not have faith in his words, the Bhagavad Gita is not different from him. But the Bhagavad Gita is as good as Krishna himself. So if you have no faith in the Gita, in his words, or following his instructions, we again return to the cycle of birth and death. So first thing we have to understand that if we want happiness, we need to come out of this material world. What is the problem with us is we are trying to be happy living in the jail. All of us are in the jail. You know, this material world has birth and death, old age and disease. Nobody can escape this, right? So, but we think that okay, I will try to be happy as much as I can in this jail. How is it possible? Cannot. No matter how much great plans you do or how much great empire you make, death will take everything away in a second. Not 1 second can be extended. You can, see like time is going, right? The Kala Chakra is moving. The last 10 seconds has passed. We cannot get it back, right? So, we must understand through the scriptures, through the words of Krishna, how to actually attain real happiness and peace. And if we follow that, if we follow in that way, we will attain the supreme destination, like what he says in this verse of Bhagavad Gita. So here he says that Krishna says that those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service, who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. So if you become very dear to Krishna, He will free you, He will save you from this material world. Like, now you're drowning in the ocean. You can imagine how big the ocean is. Nobody, if you're drowning there, who can save you? Nobody can save you. But let's say a helicopter comes and rescues you, right? So, in the same way, if we follow in Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga, devotional service, you see, and you engage with faith, shraddha, with faith, not just like now we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, you do it with faith. Then you will see that you will very quickly come out of this material world. So if usually people say that, oh, you guys are religious people. If you look at the dictionary, religion, if you see the translation, is a kind of faith. But that is not the real meaning of religion. Religion means dharma. Dharma is something that is eternal. That's why we are called Sanatana Dharma. It's an eternal faith. It's an eternal path of how we can go back to Krishna. You see? So even if they say we are following some faith, or you guys are following Hindu faith, these guys are believing something, you are believing something. If you look at the material people, they are also believing something, right? Like now when we went to school, they show us the map of the world. Africa is here, China is here. Did we go there and see by our eyes? But we take faith in the authority, right? Or let's say when you want to take a flight, you want to go back to India, you book a flight. You have faith that the airline has certified pilots. You have faith that there is such an airline also. You have faith that the plane will take off and you land at the destination in 4-5 hours. Anything can go wrong actually, right? Or if you go to the doctor, you have faith that he has a medical certificate. Sometimes there are fake doctors. There was some case like that. The doctor doesn't have a certificate, he did an operation and he left something inside the person's body. And then after that they found out the doctor does not have a proper certificate. So everything in life requires that faith, right? So now what is happening is we are putting so much faith in the scientists, material scientists, who are not interested in God. That is the problem. So whatever they say, once they were saying that, men evolved from monkeys. Darwin was saying that. But in the same book, he's writing that something like our eyes, is unimaginable how an eyes can evolve like that, unless it's created by someone. So even though he comes out with a theory that we came from, monkeys and all, but he himself is not certain about his theory. And we are believing that. Or let's say the Big Bang. Does it make sense? Billions of years ago there was a bang and the universe came out. And we are taught this in the school. And we are all believing, yes, Big Bang. Why we got so much faith in this? And here Krishna is saying how he created. Yashaiva nishvashita kala matavalamdya jivanti loma vilaja jagarantanata Vishnur mahan sahyayasya kala visheshu govindamadi purusham tamaham vajami. How the creation is happening? By his breathing. Mahavishnu is lying in the Karana ocean and he's breathing all universes. So now you have to have faith. Either this is true or that is true. Both also you cannot really see. But this makes more sense, right? How can something be created? Like now this painting is so beautiful. If I told you that the plane just exploded and everything came like that, will you believe me? No, right? Then why do you believe the entire universe, which is so much in order, so many planets, so many galaxies, everything is happening, the sun rises and sets at the same time, the moon, who's controlling this? Right? So when you read the scriptures, then you can see that this makes more sense. Like when I was young, I did not have faith in the books. My father came to tell it. When I was young, 10 years old, we came to the temple. So I was just coming here to play, But I had no faith. I just come here play with the kids, So until I was in my early 20s, where I started to read the books. And I was believing in the materialistic Western science. Like, oh no, this is all mythology. Hindus like to say this was mythology. All some mythology. So great. You see, Vyasadeva, he wrote so much of storybooks. For what? If you look at the Vedas, you know how much science is there? If you go to the third canto, 31st chapter, the entire science of how a child is born in the womb, we are only finding out now, in the last 50 years. The first day when the sperm meets the ovum, and stage by stage, what happens is recorded in the Bhagavatam. How come there's so much science? If this is some mythology, why there's so much science here? Astronomy, astrology, you know how scientific is that? Before NASA even found out all the position of the planet, the distance, the speed they are, everything is there in the books. Surya Siddhanta, there's a book. Srimad Bhagavatam, also the 5th canto talks about the planetary positions. So how come this is called mythology? So this is what the Westerners, the British did. They make you feel that your scriptures are inferior. So this is all, they make the Indians ashamed of their own culture and faith. And then they take our science, they took our Vedas, in fact, the science of how to fly the plane, nuclear weapons and all is there. They took it and then they said they did it. But it's there in our books, and we are taking them as authority. Oh, what they are saying is true. We all are mythology. You see? So now, we must understand, unless we have faith in our scriptures, how we can follow it. So for me, I analyze in a few ways. So number one, there is so much science in the scriptures. Like I said earlier, there's astronomy, there's astrology, there's so many, like the third canto about how the child is formed in the womb. All these are there. And there's so much more that science cannot understand. See, we think that we have faith on something when we can perceive it with our senses. But what is the use of my senses? If I cannot see, I don't believe it. But I cannot even see when I close my eyes. My eyelid, the nearest object to my eyes, I cannot see, right? So how I can believe on my senses? So that is not how we develop real faith. Like you see in this verse of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Brahma Pramada Vipralipsa Karana Patava Asara Vikyana Vakye Nahi Dosha Sava. So there are 4 defects all of us have. Mistakes, illusions, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages. So with all these 4 defects, we are putting our faith in all these things. But we cannot see. Like the day Tati Prabhu showed a video that, the 3D, the objects are moving, what do you call that? When you look at the object, it looks like something, but it's something else. But there's a video that the scientist, he created big structures. When you look at it, it looks like this, but you go near, it's something else. We cannot even believe our eyes. Right? So with these defective senses and all, how we can understand who am I? What is the reason I'm here? What is the goal of life? What is happiness? Why am I suffering? All these things can only be understood if we take faith in these books. And it's not blind faith, It's not blind faith. When you take it up, you will feel that, yes, this is true. Like I gave you an example just now, right? Number one, the scientific, if you look at there are a lot of scientific discoveries which now only they are discovering, but is already there in our books. Okay? Of course, we don't need to rely on science. Or if science doesn't agree with the scriptures, we reject the scriptures. That is not right. Science has not come to that yet. Our understanding has not come to that level yet. But if you analyze further and further, you will find out, yes, it's true. Right? So that is one point. Number two, if you look at the scriptures, there are prophecies. You know what is prophecy? Like I tell you something now that will happen in 10 years' time, and it happens. So if you read the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, 2 chapters are there talking about the Srimad Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago, and 2 chapters talking about what will happen in Kali Yuga 5,000 years ago predicted, and it's happening now. So if this is a mythology, how come it's true? The exact thing that is happening now in the Kali Yuga, people are fighting each other, wars, famine, people are greedy. So many verses. The characteristics of people, how they are going to behave, it's happening now. Another example, Lord Buddha, right? Lord Buddha appeared 2600 years ago. But Bhagavatam predicted it 5000 years ago. That Buddha will appear here, this town, this village, his mother's name, everything is there. So do you think this is blind faith? Or let's talk about our movement. This is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He came 500 years ago, Krishna himself. He said, my name will be heard in every town and every village. What's happening now? Did it happen? Every town you go, every village you go, every city you go, there's Hare Krishna temple, right? Who can imagine that? Then 500 years ago there was no aeroplane. Who can imagine in Africa there will be a temple, in China there will be a temple. Even in the Middle East also there is Hare Krishna temple. Krishna's name is chanted everywhere. So again, how can you say this is just faith? It's not faith. It happened, right? So like that, we have to understand when we read and we get more and more knowledge, we will understand this is not blind faith. Like example, if you look at the Christian religion or the Abrahamic religion, some things they have blind faith on. They cannot understand. Like now, they say that we only have one life, right? One birth. So if you say, does it make sense? Does it make sense that we only have one life? No, because if you say God is all kind and merciful, why somebody is born rich? Very rich. Somebody is born so famous. Somebody is born so poor. Right? Very poor. Suffering, handicap, or even like let's say you're born and tsunami comes and kills you. Why? Doesn't make, if you say no, God just wanted the person to die like that. Does it make sense? No. God is not cruel. God is not unfair that He makes somebody so rich, somebody so poor. No, because but if you look at our scriptures, there's something called karma. It's because of your actions. Maybe you did some good actions. You're born in a rich aristocratic family, right? Makes sense, right? So is this blind faith? It makes a lot of sense. There's a tree there. There's a dog outside there. There's ants. There are ants. There are cockroaches. Who is in that body? Who's the Atma in that body? Why is he in that body? So this is not blind faith. This is really scientific, right? And finally, one more point. Like if you see this verse, Bhakti Parasha Anubhava Virakti Anyatra Chaish Trika Eka Kala Prapadya Tapadya Manasya Yata Shanta Tusti Pushti Shut Apayo Nu Gasham. So it says here that devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, detachment from other things, these three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the same way that pleasure, nourishment and relief from hunger comes simultaneously and increasingly with each and every bite. So why am I showing this verse? That when you do Krishna Bhakti, three things happen to you. You get Bhakti, devotion. You get direct experience of the Krishna and detachment. So if this was a blind faith, okay, all of us are following some false book or scripture, right? Let's take it that way. How come when you started reading the Bhagavad Gita, when you started chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, there are 4 sinful activities: meat eating, intoxication, the alcohol, drugs, coffee, tea also, gambling, illicit sex. You just test yourself. If you are doing any of this, you just chant 1 month and you tell me whether you let go of this. With faith, sincerely you chant, you read the Bhagavad Gita, you come and associate with the temple, the devotees, you will get detachment. So if this was a fake thing, if this scripture was fake, just faith only, how come it changes your life? Prabhupada went to America, right? There were thousands of hippies, drug addicts. They were having so much of illicit sex. All of them, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, gave up the sinful activities, right? Is it easy or not? You tell somebody you give up meat eating. Today, tomorrow you give up. Can he give up? Let's say you're a smoker, you tell the guy to stop smoking, can he give up? But here, if you take this process, you will give up. Why? Because it's true. It is not blind faith, right? I'm giving you so many proof right now. Another example, in the University of Florida, many years ago, I don't know which year, they did a scientific experiment on 25 people for, I think, a month maybe, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra daily, for certain, I think maybe 25 minutes a day. And they were measuring the brain waves. And all those people who were in the experiment and those who were not in the experiment, you have two groups. The persons who were chanting, and these people who are not devotees, normal people, they did a scientific experiment and they found out that those people who were chanting recorded so much of peace, happiness in their mind. They were very calm. So if you want scientific stuff also, there is experiment to show. Right? So never doubt. So don't doubt the scriptures. I'm not saying blindly accept also, no. Read and follow it in your life, and you will see how much happiness you get. Not only in this life, in the next also. But if you don't do it, then you'll never get, like the verse, just now we were reading the verse, na sukham na param gatim. You do not get happiness now, you don't get happiness next life also. So we are not saying blindly accept, but take the process. I'm giving you so many evidences. There's another evidence I can give you, archaeological evidence, right? When we say these are mythology, then how come the Ram Setu bridge is there? How come Krishna's Dwaraka is there? Artifacts are found with Krishna's coin is there. Of course, Indian government, they have not come to the point of excavating and doing really thorough archaeological research. I hope they will do it in the next decade or so. But if you really put your money and do the archaeological research, you will find everything that is corroborated in the scriptures can be found. So it's not blind faith. You see? And also you see, in this verse, by chanting Krishna's name, you are getting happiness and peace, and then you are also removing all sinful activities, right? So how powerful is Krishna's name? It's just a name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Very simple, but we don't want to take the simple. We think that, this is too simple. So you see, by chanting Krishna's name, I am clearing of so much of karma, sins. I am getting happiness and peace. How powerful is Krishna himself, right? You see, if he is a fake person, how come if I am saying John, I will end up drinking Johnny Walker maybe, So, but you see the power of the name, just Krishna, how powerful it is. So you do it with faith. You see those people the devotees who are people who are faith, they have faith already, they have strong faith. So sadhu sangha means you associate with one who has that strong faith, and you try to do it in your life, and you see how much your life will change. Because we want people to be happy. The whole world, everybody is finding happiness, and they are miserable. They are not getting happiness at all. You think that you get this goal met, you are happy, but after that you are not happy. Still you are not. Still the emptiness in the heart. So devotees, associate with the devotees and take up the process. And the faith will develop step by step. Ado, Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, all these stages, and finally you will come to Prema. There you will be very, very joyful. You will be you'll be Krishna's dear servant, and that's where you find real, like a child. A child is happy when many of you all have children, right? The child is most happy when, let's say you have a child crying, you're trying to pacify him, nothing works. But you give the child to the mother, immediately the child will be happy, calm down. Right now we are a child separated from our mother and father, Radha and Krishna. In the material world, we are crying, we are suffering. But as soon as we go back to them, we'll be fully protected and happy. So we need to have that faith to take that step. Just like now we were discussing, we had so much faith on so many things which are not even true. Yeah. Now the last few years there's a big thing, right, in social media, fake news. Everybody is scared of fake news because Some guy can just create something and just make it like it's real, but it's fake. So we have so much faith in so many of these systems which are not going to work. Let's put the faith here. Let's try. Okay. So today, before you leave, please, if you don't have the chanting beads and bags, please buy. It's not much. It's very cheap. You buy the chanting and you put your faith, you put your tongue and you just chant the holy name of Krishna. And you see how your life will make a big change. Because we have experienced it, we are sharing it to you. So now the next point is we'll look at some stories of faith. Okay, there are a few stories to cover. So there was a story in Orissa. There's a panda. His name is Arjun Mishra. So he's a very great devotee of Krishna, Jagannath, and he reads the Bhagavad Gita every day. He's so much dedicated to the Gita. So one day what happened in that place in Puri, there was a heavy rain. So much of rain, there's flooding. And people struggle because Brahmanas, right? A Brahmana does not work. His duty is to give this knowledge, this dharma to people. So he lives a very simple life. He don't waste time working, because if you are working, you cannot dedicate your time to preach the message of Krishna of Gita, right? So they will go to the house and back. So people will just give some food and they live very simple life. So when it was heavy rain came, the whole place was flooding. So people were not able to go out and beg for the food also. So this person, Arjun Mishra, his name is Gita Panda, he was not able to go. And then his house, the food stock was going down. And then his wife told him that if you don't go out and ask for the food, somehow, our children, we are going to starve. We have 3 children, right? And then he said, you know what he did? He showed the wife this verse from the Gita. Ananyaya Chindayanto Mam Ye Jana Paripashate Desham Nitya Yuktanam Yogakshemam Mahamiham. So he showed this verse to the wife. He said, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. See, Krishna says, if you surrender unto him, I will carry what you lack. What you don't have, I will provide. And what you have, I will preserve. So he showed the wife this verse and he said, have faith. Krishna is saying, Krishna will take care. But the wife was very worried. They said, no, you have to do something. She was not having so much of faith like him. So when he went to sleep, she took the Gita and she took this page and she made 3 lines on this verse. So she cancelled this line. I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So after that, what happened? 2 boys came to the house. They're knocking the door. And the wife opened the door and 2 very beautiful boys, one dark looking and one very white looking. So it's Krishna Balaram. So they brought a lot of vegetables and they said, my dear mother, I heard your house there is not enough vegetables. We are here to deliver to you. Your husband is a great devotee. We are here to provide. So she took everything and she said, if you don't mind, you wait for a while. I will cook the prasad. I will offer the bhoga and prasadam and give it to you. Please wait. And then the boy said, I cannot eat. She said, why you cannot eat? Then she showed the tongue. There's 3 lines. His tongue was cut. Because Krishna and Gita is not different, you see, and she cancelled it, right? So the boy left. The 2 boys left, and the husband saw so many vegetables and provisions, and he said, how come so many, who gave this? The 2 very beautiful boys came, and she described the features, the ornaments, and the husband knew this is Krishna and Balaram. Then the husband said, did you give them prasadam? He said, no, he could not eat because there's cut in his tongue. Then he opened the Gita and he saw 3 lines and he said, see, this is why. You did not have faith, you cancelled the line, and the Lord himself came. The Lord is showing you that I am also getting that injury. Of course the Lord is not injured, but his pastime he's showing that he's a person. You think he's a stone, he's standing here like a stone. No. He will, if you have so much of faith and devotion, he will reciprocate with you. You see? But of course we are not in the level yet. we cannot directly go to Krishna. We have to go through the spiritual master first. If we satisfy Prabhupada, automatically Krishna will be satisfied. Like they say that if you love my dog, then you love me also, right? So the Vaishnavas are like the dogs. We are humble servant of Krishna, especially the spiritual master like Prabhupada. What is that one? Bhakti Vinod Thakur say, "Tomara kukkur." Right? Vaishnava Thakur, Tomara kukkur. So we are like a humble servant of the Lord. So by serving, so now the thing is we cannot go to Krishna directly. Oh, maybe tomorrow I can talk to Krishna. No, you satisfy Prabhupada. Become a humble servant of Prabhupada, and he will get you closer to Krishna. See? So now this first story, this is what we saw, that how this person has, the wife was, she's a devotee, but her faith was not so strong. Now we will see another story where the person, so this story happened in Vrindavan, not Vrindavan, but around there. So what happened was, a robber, a thief, he goes into houses to rob jewelries and wealth from people. So one day what happened, he was going past this house, there's a lot of people in the house. So there was a Bhagavad Sapta going. The person who's giving the Bhagavad class is sitting there, a lot of people in the house. So he thought, let me go inside this house and rob, when they are sleeping at night time, I'll rob everybody. So nicely he sneaked into the house, he hid one corner. But fortunately he was hearing the Bhagavatam class. He was hearing the class, and the speaker was talking about Krishna's beauty, how Krishna goes out to play in the fields with the cows and his friends, and Mother Yashoda dresses up him with so much of jewelries and ornaments and beautiful gold, and Krishna has so many jewelry, right? So Mother Yashoda will dress them nicely and go and play. So he was hearing all this, and then he was thinking, oh, why not I rob this boy Krishna? Why so many people are here? These people, how much money they will have? But this boy got everything I need. One whole lifetime. I got a lifetime settlement. Let me go and see. So he listened to the class nicely, and then everybody left. And then he went and caught this Bhagavad speaker and said, "Hey," he came with a knife, "Hey." And then this Brahmana got very scared. He said, "I got no money, please. I'm already so poor. I got nothing on me. Please don't rob me." He said, "I don't want your money. What do you have? I want to see that boy Krishna. I want to rob him." And then this Brahmana was thinking to himself, like, what a fool this guy. Okay, you go this way, Vrindavan. You go and find him. He's there in the Yamuna, the banks of Yamuna. You will see him there. You'll see he's dark in complexion. You see his brother also, Balaram there. You can rob them nicely. Then this Brahmana was laughing and going home. So you see, even though he's reading the Bhagavatam and giving the class, he was not having faith so much. But this person, the robber, had so much of faith. I must see Krishna. I must get him. He went. He went all the way to Vrindavan, and he went to the Yamuna river, and then he saw this boy, beautiful looking boy with a flute. And he was so mesmerized and charmed by this boy's beauty, he couldn't take his eyes off him. And then he was thinking to himself, what kind of mother dresses the child with so much of jewelry, anybody can rob the child. So he was getting consent for Krishna also. So what happened? Krishna was leaving, and then this man goes and catches his hand, Krishna's hand from behind. And Krishna looks at him. Krishna gets frightened by seeing this man because he's a robber, right? Yes. And the man, when he touched Krishna's hand, all his karma gone. All his sinful activities, he became purified. Om apavitro pavitro vasaro slokato piva yak smarak pundirikaksham sabhaya bhaya tarasuchi. By coming in touch with Krishna, we also become pure. Just like the sun, right? Let's say on the road, there's urine, right? The sun is able to evaporate that urine and purify that place. That's how powerful the sun is. So Krishna is like the sun. Anybody comes in touch with him will become pure. Even the demons, if a demon worship Krishna, he will become pure. You see? So now the thing is, the man catches Krishna's hand, and Krishna looks at him. And Krishna is afraid of this man. And then you know what the robber says? He said, the dirtiness of my mind is expressed on my face. That is why you are afraid of me. He said, please forgive me. And then he says that, but don't leave me, please. So Krishna says, don't worry. I know why you're here from, why you're coming here. Um, why don't you can start taking all my jewelry, no problem. And then the robber says, how I can take? Your mother gave you so much of jewelry, I cannot take. You know, he said you are a small thief only. I am a bigger thief than you. Don't worry. He said you only steal gold and jewelry. But I am chit chore. I am the stealer of everyone's heart, and I have stolen your heart now. Krishna said that, and then he disappeared. And the man sees that there was a big bundle of all this jewelry wrapped, in the cloth. And he was so surprised that then he took it and he immediately went to his village and he saw the Brahmana and he gave that jewelry and he said, look at this. Krishna gave me everything. And this guy was still laughing, what this guy nonsense talking. And he opened and saw everything that is described in the Bhagavatam, all the jewelry, the Kastuba, gem and everything, it is there. And then this Brahmana started to cry and weep oh, I have been reading so much without faith, but this guy saw Krishna himself. So this is the thing, that this is the two stories, have the faith, take the first step in this Krishna conscious journey, and you will see how your life becomes sweeter and sweeter, happier and happier day by day. You see? And final story, there's one more story there, story of Sakshi Gopal. Many people know this. So Sakshi Gopal, he's a deity found in Orissa. Is it Cuttack, right? Near Cuttack. It's from how many minutes from Puri? 30 minutes from Puri. So there's a beautiful temple of Krishna. His name is Sakshi Gopal. Sakshi means witness. Krishna is coming as a witness. So how this story begins is two Brahmanas from Andhra, Vidyanagar. So they are, one Brahmana is an old man. He's very rich, very aristocratic. Jai Shri Shri Radha. So very aristocratic Brahmana. Oh, he's old. He wanted to go from Andhra to see Vrindavan. He wanted to go on a pilgrimage. And so a young Brahmana from the village, he's a poor man. He's not rich, he's very poor, very humble, very simple. He wanted to serve this Vaishnava. So he wanted to do, because Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanaya Taicha Jagaritaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishna is very, very pleased when the Brahmanas and the cows are served. Why? Because the Brahmana and the cows, they uphold Dharma. I'm talking about the real Brahmanas, not the fake ones we see nowadays. But a real Brahmana is one who spreads the message of Krishna. And the cow is also very important because Krishna is very dear to the cow and he loves the cow. And the milk is also very important, very nutritious for developing our brain also. So these both people are, Krishna is pleased. So this young Brahmana he understood that I have to serve this Krishna. I want to make Krishna happy. So how to make Krishna happy? I want to serve a senior Vaishnava. So he says, okay, I will come with you. I will help you in the journey. So from Andhra, they go to Gaya, then they go to Gaya, then they go to Kasi, then they go to Prayag, then they go to Mathura. In Mathura, they go to Govardhan Hill, all the Chaul forests. There are Chaul forests in the Braj. And finally, they come to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, there is a deity of Sakshi Gopal, beautiful deity. And they were so mesmerized by the beauty of the deity that they did not want to leave. They stayed for a few days, 3-4 days they stayed there, and then they were worshipping the Lord. And the old Brahmana, he was very, very pleased with the service of the young Brahmana. So he said to the young Brahmana that, I am very happy with how you have taken care of me. Even my own son will not do this for me. My son will not follow me and take care like this. So I want to repay you. I want to honor you. So I want you to marry my daughter. And this young Brahmana says, no, how I can marry your daughter? This is unheard of. Because you are such a great aristocratic person. I am so poor. You are such a great scholar. I don't even know so much scriptures and all. Please don't make this promise. Don't say this. It's not possible. And this Brahmana says, I insist, you must marry my daughter. And then the young Brahmana says, don't become like Bhishmaka. You know Bhishmaka? Rukmini's father. So Bhishmaka wanted Rukmini to marry Krishna in Dwaraka, right? Um, but Rukmi, the elder son of Bhishmaka, wanted her to marry Shishupal. So the father at first had desired that Krishna should marry his daughter, but he could not fulfill that because the elder son objected. But of course, Krishna came and kidnapped Rukmini and saved her. So in the same way, the young Brahmana says that don't do that. Bhishmaka also wanted this, but he was not allowed by his family, so do not make this promise. And then the Brahmana says, she is my daughter, she is my property, and who I give my property to, that is not a problem. Nobody can question me. So he's very confident that he could get the marriage done. So the young boy says, okay, if you are so confident, then you please promise in front of Gopal that the marriage will take place. So the old Brahmana says, yes, I promise. In front of Gopal, I promise that my daughter will be your wife. So they came back all the way back to Andhra, and then they, the Brahmana was thinking how to convey this message to his family members. Right? And some time passed, and finally he decided, okay, today I will tell. So he called all the family to come as a meeting, and he said, I promise to give my daughter to this boy. And everybody was so angry. He said, how dare you make such a crazy promise? He said, you cannot, if you do this, you will lose all your aristocracy. In fact, we will also commit suicide. We will drink poison and die. We will separate from you. We don't want you, we will die also. They threaten him like this. So the old man was very distressed. What to do? I made a promise in front of Krishna, and now I cannot fulfill that promise. My dharma is finished. What is the use of my religious austerity, practices, everything, if I cannot keep my promise in front of the deity? He is thinking like that. He was very worried. And then the elder son said, you don't worry, you just tell him that you do not remember what is the promise. You don't say that, you just tell, I will take over. When he comes, you say, I don't remember what I said, I will take care of him. Like that. So the old man was a great devotee of Krishna, so he just surrendered to the Lord and said, Krishna, I have faith in you. You please save me and save my family members because they are going to do sin against this young Brahmana. Please save them also, save me also. So after that, the next day, the young man comes and the young man says that, my dear sir, you promised me a daughter, but now you have been silent. What's happening? And then the old Brahmana was just silent. And then the elder son came with a big stick and chased him out. He said, you cheated my father, I'll beat you. And then he came, and then this boy ran away. Next day, the boy called the panchayat, that village panchayat, right? So everybody came, and he asked for justice. He said, this old man promised me his daughter in front of Gopal, and now he's not fulfilling that promise. What to do? Then the elder son came out with a story, and he said, no, this young boy cheated my father. This young boy, he put some drugs on my father. He became very intoxicated, and then he stole all my father's money. And he said that a thief, somebody stole the money, but he stole that money. And then after that, he told my father to promise. My father was in drugs. He don't know what's happening. So everybody was thinking, yeah, maybe it's true because he's a poor man. Maybe he wanted the wealth of the, And then the old Brahmana says, I do not remember. He was very sad to say this, but he said, I do not remember what I promised. At that time. So, because the old Brahmana said that, and then the young Brahmana said that I understand why you say this, because your children, they want to commit suicide. Right? They want to kill themselves. So you have no choice. But do not worry, because of your purity, because of your austerity, Gopal will come and tell witness. Gopal will come and give witness to this. And then the old Brahmana says, okay, if you can get Gopal and come here and tell as a witness, I'll accept. So the Brahmana, he has faith in Krishna. He knows Krishna will come. The son has no faith. See the two different. The son thought, oh, Krishna, where he will come? Anyway, chapter is closed. Finished. This guy is checkmate himself. He's not going to marry my sister because he will not be able to bring Krishna. But the Brahmana agreed, you bring Krishna. You know why? Because Brahmana knows that this young Brahmana is so powerful. He can bring Krishna here. So these two, we are talking about faith, right? One person has no faith, one person has full faith. So the young Brahmana says, I will go, I will come back soon. So he goes all the way back to Vrindavan and he talks to the deity and he says, he explains the situation, what has happened. And he told Krishna, you please come and be a witness for me. And Krishna says, okay, don't worry, you go there, you bring the panchayat, you just remember me, I will come there and I'll talk to them, I will tell them, no problem. Then the young Brahmana says, even if you come in your Vishnu form, nobody will believe you. You come in your deity form directly. Like that you come. Yeah. So, we have no faith. You think he's a stone, right? He's not a stone. With the pure devotion, you can talk to him. So, after that, the Krishna says that everybody has seen the deity. How can the deity walk, right? Where have you heard a story where deity is walking? And the young Brahmana says, but you're talking, right? If you can talk, you can walk also. So you please come and say, you please come. I'm not interested to marry that girl. I'm not doing this because I want to marry. It's not a lusty affair. I want to marry this girl, you come and be a witness. No. I want you to come because if you do not come, the old Brahmana, he becomes sinful because he lied. And I don't want him to get that sin. So he was concerned of the Vaishnava. And Krishna says, what he says here? Huh? Shipram bhavanti dharmatma sasvakchantim nigacchate kauntaya pratijhani name bhakta pranashyati. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declared boldly, my devotee never perishes. Krishna also does promise, told Arjuna to promise that my devotee will never perish. So Krishna agreed to come because he wanted to save the old Brahmana's honor and his spiritual life. You saw that? And also the young Brahmana, you know what he said, another funny thing. He said, you are a witness. You know what happened. And if you don't come and tell the truth, you are also committing sin. Of course, Krishna cannot be sin. Krishna is sinless. But this is the dealing of a pure devotee. We cannot go and tell Krishna that, hey, you committing sin, why you're like. We are not in that level, please. But you see the dealing of a pure devotee. He says, you don't come and tell the truth. Like see Bhishma Dev, right? He kept quiet. Draupadi was being disrobed. He was quiet, but in the end he got the sin. He was killed in the Mahabharata war, even though he was such a great bhakta of Krishna. So this man tells Krishna, you will be sinful if you don't come, please. Krishna said, don't worry, okay, I will come. But my condition is, you walk in front of me, I will be behind you. You will hear my ankle bell. Every day you cook 1 kilogram of rice. See, the Brahmana is poor, he got no money also. But every day he has to cook 1 kilogram. Where it came? Krishna provided. So every day he will cook 1 kilogram, he'll offer to the Lord, distribute the prashadam, then they will walk. So they walk all the way to the Vidyanagar town. And outside the town, the Brahmana decided, okay, this place is good enough. Now I will go and turn back and look at Krishna. So when he turned back and looked at Krishna, Krishna says, okay, I'm not, because the condition was, if you look at me behind, I will stop that place. If you turn and look at me. So when he turned and looked at him, there was the right place also. So Krishna says, I'm not moving this place, you bring everybody. So he ran to the village and everybody came, the Brahmana came, the family came. And everybody was surprised that this is true. So how powerful that with his deep faith and devotion, he was able to even make the deity walk. And then the town became very famous. The king came there and then they constructed a temple for the Lord. And the deity was named Sakshi Gopal because he gave witness for his pure devotees. And Sakshi Gopal, and then these two Brahmanas were together serving the deity till the rest of their life. And the Lord also told them that you are my pure devotees. Life after life, you come and participate in this pastime with me. So he's eternal devotees. And of course the history goes where King Prataparudra's father, what is his name? Huh? Purushottam Dev. Purushottam Dev, Orissa king, the father of Prataparudra, he conquered Vidyanagar at that time. And then he also was a great devotee. So he prayed to the Lord, you please come to Orissa with me. So the Lord left Vidyanagar and went to the Cuttack place. So this is the story where we can see how much we have that faith in the Lord, how much we will be saved from this material world. So many lessons we can learn, right? The old Brahmana had full faith. Somehow this young Brahmana will bring Gopal. So everything was, by having that faith only, everything was taken care of. The Lord saved so many people at the same time. And then he came to this place, he gave his darshan there. And now he's in Orissa and he's still giving darshan. In fact, I think December you are going to this place, right? So there's a trip to India in December. So we are going to go and see Sakshi Gopal as well. So like that, please come and associate with the devotees. Please take up the process. And your faith will increase. And once you have really firm faith, you'll never be shaken. Nothing can shake you. Even you are in the greatest difficulty and distress, you will be very firm in your bhakti to Krishna. See? Like example, like Mirabai, right? She was a princess, Rajput. But she was so much devoted to Krishna. She saw Krishna as a husband since she was 5 years old. And she was always keeping Krishna deity with her, playing with Krishna, bathing Krishna, sleeping with Krishna. So when she became married, she got married at 16, I think, to another kingdom of Rajput. They were not happy with her because she was not attached to her husband. She took Krishna as husband. And the husband also was okay. Husband understood, okay, this is a great devotee. But the relatives were not happy. And they wanted to kill her. They did so many things to kill her. They gave her poison. She offered poison milk. She offered to the Lord, she drank. They gave her snake. They said, this is garland, give to Krishna. But the snake, when she opened the cover, the snake became garland. So they tried so many ways. They had a bed of the spikes. He said, go and sleep on the bed. When she went and sleep on the bed, the spikes became rose petals. So many tests she went through, so many difficulties she went through, but she never once lost her faith in Krishna. She never said, why Krishna, you are trying to kill me? No. She said, okay, Krishna, you want me to die, never mind. So one day what happened, the relatives took her to the river and said, you go inside the river. You don't want to die, you go inside and die. You drown. And she went. But nothing happened. And that time Krishna came to her and Krishna says, now you are ready to come to Vrindavan. You are. So after that she renounced everything, she went directly to Vrindavan. And she's a pure devotee. She's at the time of our acharyas as well, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. She was living at the same time. She wrote so many songs. So like that, from this story, of course we are not in the level of those devotees. But from these stories we can little bit increase our faith. In fact, when we went to the pilgrimage to India, I feel that is when my faith got more stronger. Because here we are just talking, right? But when we go there and we see these holy places, this is where Krishna was, this is what he did here. Your faith becomes much more stronger. Yeah. So please, if you can come with the devotees, your faith will become very, very strong. And you carry on your spiritual life like that. Okay, so I think we could have a last arati. We have an announcement. Let's stop the class first. Any question? Like there's no questions, right? Okay.